Hello and welcome to the Prosperous Empath Podcast, designed especially for empaths and highly sensitive entrepreneurs just like you who are committed to having it all and achieving holistic success. I'm your host, Catherine Wood, Master Certified Coach, mom, author, mastermind leader, and founder of Unbounded Potential, a boutique coaching firm for empathprenuers. I'm on a mission to bring empathy back into the world of business. Each episode will focus on achieving more by doing less and revealing how you too get to have it all in your life, your leadership, and your legacy. If you are committed to doing good and running a conscious business, but truly giving yourself permission to have it all while doing so, proving that you can have both in a society that tells you you can't and you are in the right place. Join me here every other week to find out how. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review so you won't miss an episode. Plus, you'll find all the show notes and helpful resources over at unbounded-potential.com. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast. Kat here. Happy New Year. I'm recording today's episode on the Monday of my last week in the office before taking the next 2 weeks off completely from the business. And I'm feeling so excited for this holiday season. It will be my first spending with my son and my family, and my best friend will be visiting home. And I just feel so grateful for getting to focus so much quality time with loved ones and my family and my son. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season and filled it with the people and things that are meaningful for you. I love the holiday season. I love the traditions, the memories. I love buying gifts and receiving gifts. I love the art of buying a thoughtful gift for someone that I just am so excited for them to unwrap. And it's the new year. It's 2025, and this is not a new year, new you type of podcast. But it is one of my favorites that I get to record every year. And it used to be my favorite blog post that I would write every year. And it is the episode in which I share my word of the year. Having a word of the year has consistently served as such an empowering practice for me, for grounding and for calling in a new experience or a way of being that I want to cultivate in the new year. And, rather than making New Year's resolutions, which are so often clouded in changing something about ourselves that we don't like, focusing on something that we want to fix about ourselves, it's also focused on doing. And in my experience, a word of the year focuses on being, because as ambitious empaths, we have mastered doing, friends. It's time to start being. One of my teachers once told me that, Kat, if you're not being on purpose, you're being off purpose. And for me, that's what a word of the year represents. It is a word, an experience, a way of being that grounds us in intention and purpose. It serves as an anchor to come home to, and it's an opportunity, it's a way to bring us back to a place of personal power or self-agency when we lose sense of where we're going. Now, I'm delighted to share my word of the year with you all for 2025. And before we do, I always love just taking a look back from prior years, because it's, first of all, always nice to look at what we committed to, what we put intention to, and then just to assess, how did it go? How did we do? What are the learnings? What are the takeaways? What is there to celebrate? So 2024, my word of the year was simplicity. And I was looking back at my podcast from last year, which we'll include in the show notes, the episodes from the last 2 years, sharing a little bit more about past words of the year and some of my musings on them. But last year, my word of the year was simplicity. And in revisiting the episode, I realized that I wanted to call in more simplicity in four key areas: in empowering my schedule, in minimizing my private practice, in parting ways with some business partners, which I was no longer needing in the business because I was wanting to simplify more, and opening up my private community to the public. Now, I fulfilled on all of those areas. And the fascinating thing for me was that when I recorded this episode last year, I did not know that I was pregnant. And I am so grateful for all the foundational work that I did in curating more simplicity in anticipation of bringing Micah into the world. My schedule and my business model look so different a year later. And I have no doubt it's in thanks to really thinking with intention around what's the experience of life and business that I wanted to create in 2024, because it certainly feels a lot more simple. I pulled out a lot of the weeds and really focused on the aspects of business that I loved and let a lot of things go. And now stepping into 2025, looking at my schedule, it is filled with so much more intention and purposefulness around how and when I'm available in the business and when I'm not. And quite simply, it's also a lot easier to empower your schedule when you have a beautiful, happy son waiting for you to come play with him. So, wow, so grateful for simplicity. And past years I've chosen words like leisure and prosperity. Not surprisingly, I chose prosperity in 2022 when I also unknowingly was going to launch the podcast and name it the Prosperous Empath. The year before that, I declared pleasure as my word of the year, and it was also the year I got engaged. The year before that, in 2020, was home, and that was also the year we purchased our first home. And the list goes on. I'm such a believer that if we are not being on purpose, we truly are being off purpose. So I really invite you, as you're considering this next year, what is the way of being that you want to cultivate? What is the quality or the experience of your life or your business that you're wanting to nurture? It is such a useful practice in re-anchoring ourselves in who we want to be, in how we want to show up. And from there, what are the practices that allow us to fulfill on that experience of life or that way of being? So many of us, we focus on doing, we focus on what we want to achieve, what there is to do, what there is to accomplish. But in reality, we do not want to accomplish for accomplishment's sake, and especially as ambitious empaths, we want to accomplish things so as to make available a distinct experience of life, a new way of prioritizing our time, our resources, our energy. So it does not have to be this delayed gratification game. It does not have to be this zero-sum game where we do so that we can have a little more free time, play a little more with our children. We can do that now. We can choose who we want to become and practice becoming that version of ourselves in this moment. And for me, that's what having a word of the year has always represented. So with that, I am thrilled to share with you my word of the year for 2025. Oftentimes I feel a little sheepish sharing my words of the year. It feels like a big reach for me. But in reality, this year, my word of the year came very easily for me. And in looking back, I was actually shocked that I've never chosen this word of the year before, because it is a way of being that is something I'm a huge stand for in my coaching practice and in my masterminds. It's something I speak with clients about often because I notice that it is an experience, it's a way of being that so many of us are craving right now more than ever. And for me, that way of being is presence. My word of the year for 2025 is presence. Now, I was really reflecting on presence and what it means to me. And I really think that Eckhart Tolle, um, he has such a beautiful interpretation of it. He says, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. And what I notice, especially being a new mom, is that the quality of now is everything to me this year, now more than ever, because I look at Micah every day and he's reaching new milestones. He's learning new things. He's looking different. He's gaining weight. He's growing. He's changing. He's evolving. And I don't want to miss a single moment of it. For me, the quality of our presence, the quality of my presence with him is everything. And I am so committed to cherishing and nurturing that in this new year. Now, I really believe that the quality of our presence is everything, not only in life, but in business as well. And particularly for us as empathprenuers, the way in which we show up, the way in which we be with other people is how empathpreneurs choose who to partner with in business, choose who to work with, choose who to become friends with, choose who to be in relationships with. And if we are so focused on rushing, on accomplishing, on not being in the here and now, we will lose sight of opportunities. We will lose sight of clients and collaborations. We'll lose sight of the joy in the here and now. So for me, I think that the experience of presence is something that so many of us can take something from in the new year and practice. As I reflect on presence as my word of the year, something I'm really mindful of is that I experience a lot of presence in my life. I have a morning routine that allows me to ground and come to a place of centerness. And it's not that I'm wanting more presence per se. It's really the quality of my presence that I'm wanting to really nurture and bring even more intentionality to this year. It's the quality of my time, my energy, and my relationships, and how I'm choosing to experience them this year. And I'm thrilled at the prospect of both enjoying and experiencing them with my full presence, with my full heartedness, with my full attention. For me, that experience of giving and receiving someone's undivided attention, it's just about the most important gift I could ask for. And something I've even been noting recently is that, Gary Chapman has this beautiful distinction of the 5 love languages. And in years past, receiving thoughtful gifts and physical touch have always been my top 2 love languages. But what I've noticed over the past couple years is that my love languages have been evolving. And now more than ever, quality time feels more and more important to me because we live in such a fast and hurried world. Now, if you haven't read the book Dopamine Nation, I really, that was one of my favorite reads of 2024 because it talks about just this idea that we are living in this world where we are addicted to dopamine. We're addicted to the highs of social media, of the craze of who liked and comments on our posts. And it is so hard for so many of us to slow down, to put away technology, to shut off at night and be fully present. And so for me, I just noticed that I've never craved someone and my friends and family's full presence more in my life. And I've never wanted to gift that to other people. So for me, this year is about bringing my full presence and enjoyment to myself, my husband, my son, my business, my family, friends, Mother Earth, our pups, our beautiful home, the beautiful neighborhood and woods that we're surrounded by. It's about stillness. It's about rest. It's about enjoying. It's about embracing idleness as a gift. I am so just present to the enrichment that this experience is going to bring me this year. And I'll be excited to come back at the end of the year and share with you how it went. Now, I want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes, and it's by David Whyte. It's from his book, Consolations, The Solace, Nourishment, and Underlying Meaning of Everyday Words. Now, I think that there's so many of us who experience loneliness these days. You know, we read often about how we're all experiencing a loneliness epidemic. And I think it can be really hard to feel lonely when we are fully present. David Whyte says, to feel abandoned is to deny the intimacy of your surroundings. To feel abandoned is to be present in the universe and yet refuse to believe you are a part of it. This quote, for me, it reflects his deep understanding of presence as this intimate connection with the world around us and a refusal to isolate oneself from it. If you are feeling lonely, if you're feeling rushed or harried or like you're not enjoying yourself, your life, your relationships, your business as we enter this new year, I invite you to try on gifting yourself more presence in the new year. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you the happiest of New Year's. May your 2025 be rich and may it be filled with purposefulness. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Prosperous Empath Podcast with me, your host, Catherine Wood. Make sure you subscribe and leave a review so you don't miss an episode, and so more empathpreneurs just like you and me can find the show. You can find all the show notes and resources shared over at unbounded-potential.com. And if you're looking for more community and conversation like the ones we have here, join us in the Unbounded community at unboundedmastermind.com, a unique space for empathpreneurs committed to doing good as we grow, give and get support, and most importantly, come together.